a minute here to allow everyone to switch over from the premiere. I see everyone's coming in. We got Captain Jack with the raid. Thank you as always. And then everyone's coming from the premiere. It's a little hard to see, so sorry if I don't get everyone. As you guys know, my computer is broken, so I am live streaming off my phone. But I think it was William coming in. Yep, William, that premiere, I'm speechless. We got Mike, Lewis, Nancy, welcome in everybody. And instead of saying hello, should I say Jumbo? Jumbo is how they say hello over there, or even better yet in this case, Karibu, everybody, welcome. So, I am back. I did safely make it. I feel like I'm being followed for some reason. Let me try to get this pinned message off my screen here so I can actually fully see your guys' comments as they come in. Bear with me. We have so much to talk about, and I don't know where to even start, you guys. I mean, as Nate has mentioned, Land Cloud Adventures. I think I just broke the chat, you guys. Yeah, now I'm not seeing anybody's comments. There they are, okay. Linda! Karibu, as they say. Welcome. So, I'm not able to get that pin message off. I'm just gonna leave it. Or if a moderator could. I'm not sure if you guys can do that. It's really kind of covering my screen right now, so I'm having a hard time seeing all the comments. But where do I even start with this, you guys? As Nate said, there was political turmoil, I believe was the termage he used, and I really like that. It didn't, Nate, but if we have to, we can roll with it. So, God, where do I start? I do want to start with, before we get into an upbeat conversation here about the trip and all of that, I do want to take a moment. I made a post yesterday. Some of you I know saw it. There was some concern. I don't want to go deep into the conversation, but I do want to apologize. I don't know. There is a lot of stuff going on in my life right now, from Rocky being sick to a family member unfortunately being in the hospital and it's not looking the greatest, to just kind of coming back and being sick for 3 weeks now, physical pain, lots of stuff going on. And yesterday I ended up having a really bad anxiety attack, the first one I've had in years. And it was really one of the worst anxiety attacks I've ever felt, ever had in my entire life. Scooby Snacks is coming in. Thank you for joining us. So, yesterday, I wasn't in the greatest mindset, and I've even noticed, like today, there's little things that I forget, little things here and there that I normally wouldn't. I just don't feel like myself right now. I'm not really able to think clearly at times, stuff like that. And one of the side effects to some of the medication that was required for Kenya is severe depression. There was actually someone on our trip, female, that halfway through she had to stop taking the medication because she was getting really, really bad severe depression. And I don't know, maybe that's playing into it, but I just wanted to take a moment before we get into this upbeat stuff and everything to apologize for those who did see the comment. It has been taken down since, and I'm doing better. I took some time off work yesterday. A good friend kind of talked into it, and it was definitely what I needed. I took the day, mental health day, took Rocky, and I just kind of tried to relax the best I can and keep my mind off of 50 million things right now. So with that being said, let's get into the upbeat stuff here, and let's talk about this once-in-a-lifetime Kenya trip. So, the question that I'm sure is on everybody's mind, the question I always get the most when I come back: how was the trip? So we'll start there. The trip was alright. I'm starting to like it more and more. Originally, when I came back, Michelle, completely agree. Mental health days are very important. I see William saying that his mom, was it? Yeah, his mom's not doing good. I'm sorry to hear that, William. I hope she gets better. Please send some prayers and some good vibes, whatever it is that you believe in, over to William's mom. So, the trip to me, originally, I came back to the U.S. and I said I was kind of disappointed and a little underwhelmed. For me, it was really, I went into it with very, very high expectations. And I don't think that was necessarily fair. But as you guys know, the past year has been really, really rough for me for many different reasons. And that's probably playing into my mental health as well. Not probably, it is. I know it is. It has been for a while. But this past year, working extra hours, almost being a full-time student, like everything, my big reward to myself was supposed to be Kenya. And when it comes to vaccinations and boarding Rocky and souvenirs, when everything's said and done, it cost me about $10,000 is what I estimated going in, and I think I did a pretty good guess. I don't want to check my bank account. I got paid right before I left, and I got paid the day I came back. So I don't want to check the bank account. I don't want to do the math. But very quick numbers in my head, this trip did probably cost about $10,000. The reason I bring that up is because in the really bad moments, for example, my flight's over. Many of you know I've been dealing with physical health issues. Well, I was in the air flying for 24 hours on the way over there between two flights, so there was a small little gap there. But in total, it took 24 hours to fly there. My body has never experienced so much pain. I was literally in tears because of how much pain my entire body was in. And the only way I could explain it is that every single inch of my body was screaming out, telling me it was in pain, wanting me to do something to fix that problem. There was nothing I could do, and I thought, like, there is no possible way this can get any worse. And as the flights went on, it only did somehow get worse. So the upgraded seats, that didn't work out. I could have gotten upgraded seats from New York to Nairobi, Kenya, but they wanted $1,200. And in the moment, I went, nope, no way am I spending $1,200. Like, that is money. There is just stuff on my head right now that I am not ready to share publicly. But there is some big stuff coming up within the next year. I'll give you guys a little bit of a teaser by saying that there is, like, life-changing stuff coming up here in a year. So I'm saying here, $1,200, no way. I could save that money and put it towards this and this and this, and no possible way. And by the time I was on that flight, in tears, I was pretty much begging myself, you should have took the seat, you should have paid the money. It sucked. It was in that moment, I was like, I'm canceling Machu Picchu, I'm never going on a flight again. Not even in the US. I am done. My body, as much as I hate to admit this to myself, I can't physically handle it. Blah, 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 blah. You guys want to know how my flights got even worse? I had to leave 7 a.m. Wednesday. I drove 5 hours to Minneapolis Tuesday night. Treated myself to Cracker Barrel, which is the food I miss the most from living on the road. Got some amazing meatloaf, mac and cheese, really just treated myself. Didn't overeat, watched what I was doing, didn't want to get sick. But regardless, here I am on my flights, 24 hours in the air, not including the time going through security, passport control, all of that, with food poisoning. So in those moments, I'm going, yep, I don't like this. I don't. As I see William here, Jacoby, you had a trip of a lifetime. When I flew to Guam, 48 hours, I understand it takes a toll. Cracker Barrel now, I'm hungry. Thanks, Kobe. You're welcome, Lewis. But dealing with that, dealing with food poisoning, in that moment, I was so fed up. I was like, I regret going on this trip. I'm not doing Machu Picchu. I'm not doing any flights ever again, not even to Arizona. That's how you guys know it was bad. I was like, I will not even get on a freaking plane to go to Arizona anymore. Not happening. Thankfully, part of it not being able to have service on my phone in the air or in Kenya, I had to get Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi, and it was very hard to find and kind of rare there. I talked myself into being like, hey, don't make any rash decisions right now. Take some time, and then we could think about this again. On the way back, you do have a 9-hour flight. It's 9 hours, so a little bit shorter. You're going to have an upgraded seat from Paris to Minneapolis. Let's see how that is on your body. Don't make any rash decisions. But at that point, guys, yeah, I'm sitting there. I'm like, this is horrible. I shouldn't have spent $10,000. That's stuff I could have used to buy a camper or anything else and not be in so much pain. And then the other reason I bring this conversation up is because even in the really good moments, there were times where we were seeing lions, and I got some amazing footage for you guys. It's not even a dare I say it or anything like that. It is the best footage I have ever taken. Now, don't get like super high hopes, because that's what I did for this trip and I was a little disappointed. But oh my god, like I keep going through some of this stuff and I just can't get over it. Just breathtaking videos. But anyway, it was in these moments, even these really good moments, in the back of my head towards the beginning, the first half of the trip, I'd say, I couldn't help but sit there in those moments and go, was this worth $10,000? Was this worth spending that money? Because I have never, ever, ever, ever spent that money on anything. Not even close. Like, the closest I've ever spent to spending that on one thing is this Suburban. I bought it for $8,000. So there was that. And also, again, in my family, that was like unheard of. A trip to like anywhere, even in the country, is rare. Most of my family has never been out of Michigan. So I'm sitting there and like, not like growing up and everything, my family didn't get the privilege of living paycheck to paycheck. We were living off of the next paycheck before we even got it most of the time. And here I am dropping $10,000, and so far, what's going on? But as many of you are saying in the chat here, overall, even with the bad, it was a trip of a lifetime. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I'm sorry if I'm a little distracted right now. I just feel like a firework hit my vehicle, so I'm a little concerned, and people are staring at my vehicle like, what the hell? I swear to God. Like, really? It's still daylight. Why are we lighting off fireworks? But okay, whatever. It just better not have hit my vehicle. Anyway, this is me not being able to concentrate, you guys. That's a fair one, but still. As I was saying, though, as all of you are saying, once-in-a-lifetime trip, and as many of you guys know, it was really, like, for me, it's better to do something and learn than question for the rest of my life, what if? So, when I got back, even though I was like, I'm really disappointed, even though I'm kind of underwhelmed right now, like, I went, I did it, it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing, I still had some fun, and you know what, like, I'm glad I went. I'm still glad I went, and I'm still glad I tried it and got this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So, I do want to, before I keep going here, I see Nate saying, so if you aren't flying, no outer space. Because, for those who don't know, that is my biggest dream in life. Like, top of the top, outside of being a nomad, it's always been to go to outer space. And in that moment, Nate, no, I would not at all. And there's even tickets you could get for like 50,000 now, 100,000. I'm not gonna lie, a couple months ago I'm looking at it, I'm like, if I played my cards right, like, I could do that. It's very expensive and you could spend that money on a lot of other things, but you could theoretically do that. And nope, in that moment, no, any part of flying at all, just no, didn't want to do it, like, at all, no part of it. I see Lewis asking, what's your next country you're visiting? I see Mike saying South Africa is on his bucket list. So, for me, the next country I'm going to be visiting is Peru. And I'm going to be leaving on Christmas Day to go to Machu Picchu. So, that is my next trip. I didn't cancel it when it was all said and done. I said, you know what, we'll wait till we get the upgraded seat. We'll see how the 9-hour flights are, because that's kind of what Peru will be, based off of some Google searches. The longest flight should be about 9 hours. It's the same time zone, so I won't have to deal with any jet lag, even though this trip, I had no jet lag. So I'm learning, you guys. But that is going to be the last, yes, technically, for now anyway, for the foreseeable future, and it's because of what's coming up. Machu Picchu is going to be my next out-of-country trip, and my last for I don't know how long. But it's for a very, very good reason. And part of it is, too, like, I could probably do another one, squeeze one in there somewhere, but it's something where I saw Linda saying seek discomfort. Yes and no. Like, yes, fully. I mean, like, I got the tattoo, of course. But I also think you gotta know your limitations. And this trip was, like, the proven to me that I cannot do this. My body cannot physically handle these long 20-plus hour flights. It physically can't without an upgraded seat. The upgraded seat from Paris to Minneapolis made the absolute world of difference, And that's the only reason I'm able to actually walk this week. Like today, I'm still in a little bit of pain, but I'm able to walk around, I'm still able to function. If it was like Europe, or if it was like the, like, flight to Kenya, at least a couple days I would have been bedridden. Because I was in that much pain, my body just can't handle it. And I'm, as hard as it is, as someone who loves to travel and stuff like that, I know I need to admit this part, and I know I need to factor it in for any future trips like Machu Picchu, and that's just part of life. So, and that's part of me too, is like, don't let stuff stop you. So you need to weigh your priorities. What is it to you? Are you willing to have to pay that $1,200 for the business class seat? Stuff like that. I do want to give me a minute here, guys, off my phone, because the comments hide every now and then, but I saw a couple I want to read here. Where was it? The premiere was spectacular. Balloon trip was fantastic. William saying, been there while in the Navy. It's beautiful. I can't wait to be to Peru. I've heard such amazing stuff, and I think for that trip too, I literally have zero expectations. I don't know anything about Machu Picchu except it's a really big deal. I know nothing about Peru except I've heard it's beautiful. And I'm not looking anything up. I said I am going in completely blind. I want to learn everything and experience it right there, right in the moment. I see William also saying to premiere, no comment. I am speechless. It was absolutely beautiful. Can't wait. Can't wait for Machu Picchu to have some beautiful, because I just keep hearing so much about it. I can't wait to see the beautiful places down there as well. Give me a second. I see Nancy, you need to get the surgery. It's not going away. Well, that's the trick, Nancy. According to the hospital, actually, correction, according to 4 hospitals and multiple specialists and doctors, I'm 110% healthy. Now, they told me I do have to make an appointment now that I'm back because of the fact it's not going away. But they literally don't know what to do. Because they have ran all of these tests, done a bunch of physicals over the past year and a quarter. Anyway, over a year. And to them, every single test, every single physical, every single, everything, I am 110% healthy. There is nothing wrong with me. So, I don't know how my next appointment's going to go, but I am scheduling one because I can't live in pain. But the other side of this too, Nancy, my mom, her MS and fibromyalgia, her stuff started early 30s. I'm about 25 and a half now. And for 6-7 years, they've been telling me I should get tested. There's no cure to that. So I don't know. I see Linda saying second opinion, but that's the thing. I've gone to 4 or 5 hospitals. At this point, I'm driving 2.5 hours away to the current hospital. So it's like, what do you do? I am going to Minnesota at this point. I'm driving through 2 states to get to this hospital now, and the doctor's saying the same thing. So is it the MS? Is it my nerves? We're not sure, but I'll still keep checking it out. I'll still keep going to these appointments, but unfortunately, it doesn't seem like it's going to be resolved anytime soon. And if it is the MS, I might just live with it because there's no cure and it's only going to get worse. So I have to learn how to live with that pain. I have to learn what stuff. This is something, actually, I don't think I ever even talked to Nate about this. The keto diet is supposed to be really, really, really good for MS. I want to learn that. I want to try it. And it might help me. And that's maybe something, now that I'm talking about it and thinking about it, maybe it's something that I should try sooner rather than later, because if this is MS, maybe it will make a night and day difference for me. But I definitely want to learn the keto diet, and I want to try it because of my health stuff. So the other thing, let's see here. Let's see, money, blah, blah, blah. God, there's so much. There's so much. I guess the political stuff. Let's go there next. So, the week leading up to my arrival, there were protests happening in Kenya. And I'm just going to act like no one saw the news here. I know some people may have, some didn't. I'll explain everything. A week prior to my arrival, they were protesting in the city of where I was going. The rest of Kenya didn't really have protests at this time. They were protesting a new tax bill that the government wants to pass. And essentially, their government is the same as our government. So the government wanted this tax bill, and in simple terms, they wanted the citizens to be taxed on every single purchase, like any item, everything. And it was such a high tax because the government's corrupted, lots of the government's like very, very rich, etc. So they're trying to pass this bill, and the tax is so high that pretty much no one, citizen-wise, could pay it. So that is why they were protesting. The day we arrived, it was me and one other girl on my flight. We got there 11:30 is when we landed. Maybe we got to our hotel 1 in the afternoon. We were supposed to have a tour of the city later that day when everybody else came in. Well, at this point, we're sitting in our hotel. We're trying to kind of relax. Just wait for everybody to get here. And I turn on the news, and they ended up rioting. So that night, our tour of the city gets canceled because of the riots. Everybody else kind of is running late, is from what I heard. I was sleepy by the time everyone got back. But from what I've heard, they got there like 11:30 to 1 in the morning. Sorry if I sound very stuffy. Like I said, I've been sick for about 3 weeks now. Nothing major, but I'm calling it a Kenyan cold, just like what I had a European cold. But we canceled the tour of the city. Everybody gets in late. Blah blah blah. Nothing really happens moving forward for a while. We go on with our trip. We go to other locations out of the city. We go to Ambosela, and we go to so many different locations away from the city. And at this point, because of the riots, they ended up accidentally, they were targeting a Kenyan political building, but they accidentally burnt down another country's embassy. Like, completely burned down, nothing left. The good thing is, nobody was inside, so nobody got hurt or worse. But that happened in the city, and I see William and Lewis and Rebecca are all heading out. So thank you guys for tuning in. Have a great 4th and safe 4th if I don't see you guys again. But yeah, they burnt down that, and then when we were gone, the next big thing was basically, not to get political here, but we're going to touch the subject a little bit because I need to for this conversation. what happened here in the United States on January 6th. Everybody knows. That's all I'm going to say. We all know about that incident. That's all I'm going to say about it. The reason I bring it up is because the exact same thing happened in the country, in the city, while we were there. Now, not necessarily in the city. Like I said, we went on to Amboseli. We were doing our safaris at this point. But they ended up breaching the parliament. And because of that, it was all over the news. Everybody's watching. They're breaching the parliament. The police are starting to shoot live rounds. And there was, I believe, 12 killed and over 30 people were injured during this situation. So we're kind of like, okay, well, it's a good thing we're out of the city at this point. We're going to avoid it. You know, we're not going back till our flights are leaving, basically. We kind of passed the area, stuff like that, but we're going to avoid all political buildings. We're going to avoid the city as much as we can, etc. So, another day, couple days go by, we're traveling, more safaris, all that fun stuff. And because of everything happening, now the protests are starting to spread throughout the country, to smaller towns and everything. So, during our drive to our last lodge, we ended up going into a town, and the very first Jeep ended up going down the main highway, and they ended up radioing to the rest of us to take a detour because they got caught in the middle of the protests. Now, in the town, they were more peaceful at that time. Mainly just yelling. They were pounding on the windows as the vehicles drove by. So it was a little bit scary, but the people in that first Jeep said, for the most part, it was mainly peaceful and just being vocal, being loud. So the rest of us, our drivers, they get that radio message. It's in African, Kenyan. We can't understand what's being said. And our driver just immediately lock the vehicle, close your windows, hurry up, close your windows, lock the vehicle. So immediately, like, we do as he says. We hurry up, we take a detour, we're on these side roads, police are escorting us, we get through the town, okay, good to go. That's when we got to the lodge, and the day's going on as usual. But what ended up happening, as someone messaged me, is how I found out about it. The Kenyan president flew into the city of Nairobi and declared a state of emergency because of the riots. So I had someone back home here, friend, reach out to me, worried, hey, are you safe? Because I don't have internet, I'm not posting a lot. They were just kind of checking in. And yeah, blah, 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 why, what's going on? And I Google it, and sure enough, yep, Kenyan president declared state of emergency. So at this point, I tried to get ahead of it. I made that first post here on YouTube. I made it on Facebook. I tagged my mom, my dad, because I know they're going to be stressed out. My mom especially is going to be panicking, freaking out. And that's how that started. As we start talking about the situation and what's unfolding, we get informed that a year prior, something similar happened and they shut down the airport. Okay, well now that would be a little bit of a problem. I'm kind of okay with it, but there's two things that need to be taken care of, and since I don't have cell signal, I can't call anybody. So I messaged my mom, my dad, and I told them, hey, look, I will keep you all updated, of course, as soon as I can, when I can, of course, absolutely. But this is what we're dealing with. Our tour director is saying we should be good, it shouldn't be a problem, but I always think it's better to prepare for the worst. Like, what do I always say? hope for the best, but prepare for the worst, especially when you're in a different country. So I told them, if the airport shuts down, I need one of you to get a hold of the college and let them know I'm not going to be able to get back until further notice. And I need the other person to call the boarding shelter with Rocky and also update them on what's going on. I can pay for him to be boarded and everything extra. I just need them to know as soon as, like, if it happens, I want them to know right away so they can also try to get something set up for Rocky. And at that point, the lodge we were at was like in the middle of nowhere. To calm my mom down, and Nate will understand this, being kind of by my hometown that one summer, very, very rural areas. I told my mom, I was like, our lodge is so rural, I can't even think of a place in the Upper Peninsula that compares to it. That is how far off the beaten path we were. And let me say, beaten path is not an exaggeration. Those roads were extremely bumpy, really rough. I got some video of that too, of us jerking and people like falling, and oh my god, completely out of everybody's way, really. So we went on, we did the hot air balloon ride, we went about our trip as planned, trying not to think about it. And by the time all of that was said and done, I got another update. The president had declined to sign the bill. Awesome! Everything returned to normal that last night that we were... last night we were in Kenya. So, great, I update everyone, I update my family. Then comes the day to leave. So everything has returned to normal, everything's good. I wake up that morning, I'm a little bit nauseous, just dealing with health stuff that I've dealt with since 11th grade. Even 10th grade, I think, actually. I tend to wake up in the morning and I'm very nauseous, bad morning sickness. No one's able to pinpoint it. We dealt with that for years and no one was able to figure it out. Might be part of my dad's health problems. He's also been like 4 or 5 different states, different specialists. They can never figure out his health stuff, his gastro stuff. But yeah, waking up super nauseous. We drive 6.5 hours, was it? We get to Nairobi. My flight does not leave until 11:50 p.m. So this is when I had it, okay, I'm going to take the public transportation. We're going to go ostrich riding. Like, everything's calmed down now. We're good to go. And they got us day use rooms so we could keep our bags and stuff. It was mainly just like a bunker down. Well, it really turned into a bunker now. But it was just for us to leave our bags and we could still walk around and do whatever. Well, we got there, and as soon as we got to the hotel, we go up to our room. I set my bags down. Right then and there, tour director message comes through. Riots are breaking out throughout the city. Please do not go outside. And we had to hunker down in our hotel for another, I think, 6 hours or so. So at that point, because of the riots, the phones, like, I can't think of the technical term, the phones, the internet, all of that, they crashed. So it was like, we kind of had that one message from our tour director, and then for a while we had nothing. I think for like an hour and a half, we had nothing. Even the people where their cell phones worked in the country, they weren't working anymore. Everything crashed. I just want to read a couple messages here. interesting hot air balloon rides, but taxes don't care of roads for the people. I'm just tripping. It's unfortunately very, very, very corrupt there. Very corrupt. So, from my understanding, no, the taxes are not for the people. It's not for the roads. It's not for anything for the people, for the citizens. It's for the government. It's for the presidents. It's for them to get even richer. I see Nate saying, laugh out loud, they travel by hot air balloon because the roads are so bad. That was definitely, I'll tell you, that was the most stable ride out of the entire trip, no doubt. And that's why many of us who had fear of heights, it wasn't even a big deal. The basket we were in was very, very stable. I don't think there was a single person with a fear of heights that actually had a problem on that trip, on that activity. So, yeah, we ended up bunkering down, and I put the news on, and I started writing my book. Oh my God, you guys, I got so much. I think I wrote like 30 hand wrote 30 notebook pages, front and back. Like, that was really nice to be able to do, to sit down and just write. And it's one of my favorite things to do, and I never really get the chance to do it. That's one of my favorite memories from traveling, even. Going down to Florida, sitting in a bookstore and writing the first book. Nothing fancy, but oh my God, is it peaceful, and it is so much fun, in my opinion. So, I was writing my book. I turned the news on as soon as we heard about it, and it was in African, Kenyan. I couldn't understand it, so I just put it on mute, but I watched. And what ended up happening, this was, of course, after the state of emergency was called already, and then everything returned to normal, so there was no state of emergency anymore. The riots broke out again. We got this message. They were starting to burn down buildings. So here I am in my hotel watching the news, and the president sends the military in. And you just got vehicles upon vehicles coming down the highway that we were just on. And they're like strapped, ready to go. Bulletproof helmets, vests, AK-47s, just waves of military vehicles. It was a sight to see. And yeah, I took some videos. I don't know if I'll make a video about it since I'm talking about it here on the live stream, but I did take some videos just of the sights, because it was something else to see all of that happening. But the military rolled in, they got it under control, and as soon as we got that message that it was under control, we very, very quickly booked it from our hotel to the airport, and I stayed there, I think, about 5 hours before my flight left. But, one thing I do want to point out, too, is, and this is something that I didn't think about till after the fact, when I say they were burning down buildings and stuff, even when I arrived in Kenya, the military was, like, huge. As soon as your plane lands, you got military guys, AK-47s, walking alongside your plane as it pulls into terminal. You drive to your hotel, it is all gated up and everything, and there are military people, like, standing by the barricade, and they have to open the barricade to get you in. So that also helped us stay safe, and that was part of when we got the, hey, it's under control. They lifted the barricade, our vehicles very quickly came in, they closed the barricade, everybody get in the vehicles quick, get in, shut the doors, open the barricade, book it to the airport. Let me see. I just want to pull up. I think there was a couple more comments here. Well, our journalist, so happy you experienced this adventure. I understand about the aches, pains, and stomach issues. Glad you made it safe. Thank you. That was a lot to take in, Linda's saying. Are you sponsored by anything? Asking for a friend. No, I am not, unfortunately. But if you want to sponsor me, I have a Patreon. But it was very much something to see. I think Nate made a comment at one point when it was all kind of happening that was like, stay safe, but you know, it makes the trip even cooler. And he was like the only one. I kind of chuckled when I read the comment, because I was like, yeah, Nate gets it, because that's where my mind was too. I'm like, I'm safe, like, I get it. It's a dangerous situation. I'm not underestimating it. But I'm also safe right now, and it does make this trip way more of a fascinating story, and it already is just a really crazy thing. It's a once-in-a-lifetime trip, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And as you guys can see, now as I've gotten into this live stream, you can probably hear there's a lot of passion in my voice. And there's people at the college that have even mentioned this. I came back and, hey, how was the trip? It was alright, blah, blah, blah. And then as time has gone on, yeah, you know, like, this happened, and I start telling my stories. There was a point, oh my god, I got a short you guys have to see. I got multiple of them. I don't know, maybe I'll post them all, or I'll pick one. I don't know, though. We had a picnic, and you're in the savannah. I can't laugh, I'm gonna start coughing again. Oh my god. Oh. But I'm in the savannah, we're having a picnic, okay? Like, blanket on the grass, we're all sitting down eating a packed lunch in the savannah. Under trees. You know what else is in trees? I made several posts about them. Monkeys. And oh my god. That might be... I keep changing it. I feel like Nate right now, how he's like, this is my favorite place. This is my favorite place. I'm doing that, except it was, this is my favorite moment. No, this is my favorite moment. No, it was not the birds. Oh my god, twice. Twice I got attacked on this trip. It became a laughing stock even within our group. They didn't even have to know any history. Just these 2 times. Oh my god, that was a whole ordeal. But we're having this picnic. And the monkeys, that is correct. Nate. Yeah, maybe. Maybe I will give you the bird. Did the monkeys take your food? That is exactly where I'm going with it. These monkeys, I swear, you guys, head on a swivel. At one point, I found out the hard way that they throw their poop at you. That's not a joke. I had to try not to throw up and go wash up, and it was not a pleasant experience. I went from wanting 2 pet monkeys to not wanting any monkeys very, very quickly after that. But at the picnic, we already know they love to steal your stuff. So here we are, and as soon as we sit down, one of them broke into our Jeep. It, like, they're so smart. Did you throw any back? I should have. I couldn't, I was in shock. I literally touched my head, and this was like the only time I was not wearing a hat on this entire 10-11 day trip. I touched the back of my head, down my back, and I just was like, are you freaking kidding me? Oh my god, I looked down, I'm like, are you just... I was in shock, I couldn't believe it. But the monkey on that picnic broke into a vehicle. They're so smart. It climbed through the roof. The roofs are open. And it squeezed in through there and was digging through the stuff in the vehicle. So everyone's like, oh my god, oh my god. And the driver to that vehicle starts running over and throws open a door, starts yelling, waving his arms. And the people were saying too, because like me, I'd wave my arms and I'd be like, no, you can't, go, go, go. They wouldn't do anything. And the tour driver, our driver, my driver, he said, no racist, this not racist. He said, black man, scared. White man, tourist. Pictures. I'm like, oh my god. So apparently, if you're African, they know better. And we saw this time and time again. If you're African and you wave your arms or you act like you have pebbles and you're gonna throw them at them, they know. And they know better. It's like a child when you hear your mom yell your like middle name and you run and you know, oh shit, it's about to go down. Those were those monkeys. But if you were white, it was literally, they came right up to you. And like our driver said, tourists, because so many of us stop and take pictures. There were people that were getting way too close. I saw it several times, and it's because of that. They were getting super close, like petting. I saw someone petting the monkey at one point, and I'm like, these are wild animals. You guys are petting the monkey to take photos and videos. Oh my god. So I get it, driver. Yeah, like, I'm not yelling at you, no racism. I get it, I get what you're saying. And yeah, I saw it time and time again. And it continued throughout the entire picnic. Somebody else that was sitting to the side of us had her food behind her before anything had even happened. Immediately, a monkey dropped from a tree, ran up, grabbed the food, and it startled the woman, and she screamed. The monkey throws the food, goes running a little bit away, and then sits there for maybe a good minute, just kind of looking at her, and then looking back into the woods, looking at her, back into the woods. We're dying laughing because this expression, if the monkey could talk, it was, what the hell was that for, lady? She screamed, and it scared the monkey so bad. So throughout the rest of the picnic, here we are, guys. Imagine me eating like a grilled cheese sandwich, and our driver has a stick and he's waving it and going back and forth, just scaring the monkeys off. So funny to watch. So funny. And then, of course, there was me and one other person that was constantly whipping out our phones like, we need to get this on video. So hilarious. I want to scroll back up. Absolutely, Kobe, I remember when the journalist got hostage and I ran back in 1979, 1980. Just saying, you are the adventure. Bad monkey, oh my god, you, yes, yep. It was absolutely insane, absolutely wild. It's because you didn't throw any back. Let's see. Why'd they put you in that position? To give you a story to tell? So this was kind of during our last day. It was after the hot air balloon ride. We're in the middle of the savannah already, and we had two options. After breakfast, either we go back to the hotel and we just sit for the rest of the day, or we could go see Tanzania. We could see the Serengeti a little bit, which is a very special thing because normally you need a visa. We can go do that. We can do a walk along a river and see, I think it was a crocodile, and a bunch of hippos. We could do game drives and maybe see the leopard and the rhino, because I'll do a video on this eventually. There's what they call the Big Five in Africa, and we did not see a rhino and we did not see a leopard, but we could do a game drive and maybe get lucky, and we would do the packed lunch then. Or, like I said, we just stay at the hotel and we sit there for the rest of the day, pretty much, until the farewell ceremony, visiting the village later on that night, and we get a buffet at the lodge. So they left it up to us, and we said, no, we don't want to sit around all day. This is our last day, and, you know, maybe we will get lucky. Let's go see a rhino, or let's go see a leopard. So we took that, and that's why we were in that situation. We were never in danger. The monkeys aren't going to hurt you unless you do something really stupid. But it was a really funny situation. And the thing is, too, those monkeys are everywhere. Like, even back at the lodge. So that's where I'm going to go next with this. You want to talk about, well, why were you in that situation? Doesn't matter location-wise. Doesn't matter at all. At all. I was at the lodge the day we leave, having breakfast. I am at the head of the table, eating breakfast. There are monkeys behind me. It's funny, because this is where I'm going, Nate. I'm sitting at the table, eating my breakfast. There's monkeys behind me. Hey, no, get out of here, blah, 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 blah. A guard ends up coming over, kind of standing by me for a little bit, walks away. I bend down to eat my food. And as soon as I bent down, I feel a thud on my back. And I instantly knew. Everyone at the table slowly lifted their heads up. Oh my God, Kobe, do not move. And then someone else was like, they're right behind you. And I just kind of was like, no, they are on me. And then at that point, the guard came running back over and acted like he was going to throw some pebbles at it. And the monkey jumped off of my back, and everyone just started dying of laughter. So, didn't matter at all. Middle of the savannah or at the lodge, those monkeys were everywhere. And it was during that point, I had to reread Nate's comment to see where I was going with it. It was at this point that someone said, monkeys are just the African Kenyan version of squirrels. And then we all started laughing again, and we spent probably the next 10 to 15 minutes wondering if Kenya had squirrels before someone, I think they Googled it, and they do have squirrels. And that, we were like, nope, squirrels don't exist here. Doesn't matter what Google says. Monkeys are squirrels in this country. They're just really, really big squirrels. So that, we, again, just dying of laughter. There's another ambulance. July 3rd, and they are all over the place today. Stay safe, you guys. Stay safe during this 4th of July. I just want to check the time quick. Can someone, I'm pretty sure he's not, but can someone double check Van Life Rocks? Can someone double check with Ray? I don't think he is going live tonight, but I just want to make sure, because if he is, we'll definitely raid him. Nate says no live from Ray, so we're not going to raid anybody. I'll probably go for another 10 minutes or so. I did leave a family cookout to come do this live stream and hang out with you guys a little bit, but I do want to get back there, spend some time with the family. I'm a little bit hungry, but I want to talk about the monkeys just a little bit more. We'll end the live stream with the monkeys. Because one last story here. Let me read this comment I saw. Okay, birds taking pizza, monkeys taking a poop. What is this world coming to? Tell me about it. So the last story I'm going to share with you guys tonight on this live stream here. Monkeys again. I want to tell you guys just how smart they really are. So this last lodge that we were at, we were warned that the doors have to be locked at all times, even when we are in the rooms, because the monkeys, and I don't know if they were baboons or what, because we saw a couple of those, but these ones at this lodge, they were massive. Like, they were, the only way I could explain it was like baboons, but on steroids, because oh my god. And I got video and photos, you guys, so don't worry. But we were told, even when we're in the rooms, keep them locked. And when we're leaving, going out on safari, anything like that, we have to turn our key in. Because if we accidentally leave it somewhere, if we accidentally drop it, anything like that, the monkeys are smart enough, is what we were told. So we turn the keys in every single time we leave. We were warned that you do not want them to go in your room because they will tear everything apart. Well, we get back from our long day safari, long hot air balloon ride. We were up at what, 4:30 in the morning that day? Long action-packed day. One of the girls goes to her cabin. She opens the door. It is absolutely trashed. Everything is thrown everywhere. And I mean everything from like the hotel supplies to her bags were open and thrown everywhere across the room. What ended up happening was they did not tell us to check the windows. She had never opened the window, and she never thought to check the window. Come to find out, housekeeping, or the last resident, guest, whatever you want to call it, they left the windows unlocked. So a monkey pushed out the screen, took the screen out from the outside, took the screen out, and then slid open this one open window, climbed in, searched through all of her stuff for food, luckily did not take her phone, her camera, wallet, passport, because there's a history of that. It just went through everything, absolutely trashed the room, and then left with the window still open. That is how smart those animals are. So I'm gonna kind of end the live stream with that. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. I do have a little bit of information here. 2 little bits, really fun stuff. That monkey is smarter than me. Sometimes, you know, I was very impressed. And there's one more monkey story even that I could share with you guys at one point, but I am gonna wrap it up here. 2 things though. One, I don't think I shared this with you guys. I actually have my first photography sales, I guess you could technically say. Prior to the trip, a local artist who paints, she reached out to me and she said that not Kenya, Africa as a whole holds a very special place in her heart, that she was there many years ago. So she asked if I would take photography for her, and then upon returning set up a meeting, because she would like to go through all of my photos, pick out several that she could paint, and she'll pay me for them. Furthermore, when the paintings are done, she is going to credit me on the paintings. So just, I am honored. It was somebody I've done paint nights with many, many times. I've wanted to do photography professionally for a long, long time. And there are shots that the only way I could explain them is they are National Geographic level. I'm not bragging. It's not even necessarily my skill set. It was just the animals being where they were, how amazing they are, and having a really, really great phone camera, a pair of binoculars, my GoPros. Out of a lot of the photos I took, there were several that were absolutely breathtaking, like the thumbnail I used for this live stream. So I'm really honored to do that. I have a meeting scheduled with her 2 weeks from now. That way I could kind of organize the photography and get it all set up for her. And I just can't wait to see what she picks out, what she wants to paint, what it's going to look like when it's all said and done being painted. Absolutely a great opportunity for me here. Absolutely honored. And then the last piece of it, not advice, last piece, that's how you guys know I'm so out of it. The last thing I was going to talk here about is Nate is not going live next week either. So I have two decisions here. I told him originally maybe I was going to make an hour-long video about the entire trip. That's going to take a lot of editing, stuff like that. Not sure. I might just do another live stream like this because, like I said, I got another monkey story that is like the best monkey story, and there is so much more to talk about on this trip. So either way, Nate has gracefully donated his Wednesday afternoon tonight and next week, so a big thank you and shout out to Nate for that. I was actually in Kenya trying to think about how I could fit in on a Tuesday night or a Wednesday night, so this made it really easy for me, and it just works out so well. So I really, really appreciate that. And thank you all for tuning in to the live, tuning in for that video premiere. I don't think I'm going to do a hot air balloon ride or video myself, because that professional one was so perfect. I might just use those photos in a different way. Photos, videos, stuff like that. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in. It looks like traffic is really, really starting to pick up here because they're about to do fireworks. So last thing, then I swear I'm going to head out. I am going to... Fireworks tonight is over a lake. It has always been the most beautiful spot my entire life for fireworks. I have my drone with me, so this thing can fly 15 miles away. I'm gonna park way away from the crowds. I'm gonna use the incredible zoom on this video, that way I can keep a safe I'm starting to malfunction here. I'm going to keep a safe distance so the fireworks don't hit the drone, and I'm going to record all of it. And I hope maybe tomorrow I could post it. I'm supposed to be able to live stream off the drone, but I'm not sure how all of that works. But I know last year I did a live stream off my phone. Lots of people enjoyed it. So I'm going to do the same kind of, except we will be doing video from the drone this year, so hopefully get some amazing footage for you guys. So again, thank you to Nate for letting me go during his time. Thank you for Captain Jack for the raid, and thank you all for tuning in to the premiere and the live stream tonight. I hope you all, if I don't see you tomorrow, have a very great, happy, and safe 4th of July. Until then, I will see you all next Wednesday. I'm trying to think of what Kwaheri means bye in Kenya. So, Kwaheri, and have a great night, everyone.